detection should score lower. Yesterday I explained to you about Prius, right? Electricity versus Prius. That was a very good example. Tak ingat?
Kereta.
Okay, let me explain about Prius. Toyota Prius.
Kereta dia.
Yes. Okay. That is a very good example of detection. The car can preempt. Okay. The car can preempt that you are about to fail. The car can preempt and tell you that you are about to break down. The car is about to break down. Okay. So in Prius, they install computers that can always diagnose on the run as you drive. The computer will diagnose, okay, the performance of your system, your power system, your battery, your whatever system. So one day I was driving back from KL to Kuantan, and suddenly a message crawler appeared in the dashboard. Okay, in the dashboard you have the display. In Prius they have digital display. Back in 2014, 10 years ago, okay, they have a digital display. Okay, we detected irregularity in your battery performance. Please stop your car and park where it is safe and call your service center. Itu kalau ada suara lagi sedap. Tadi dia pakai tudung. Kalau ada suara cakap macam tu lagi sedap. So brilliant, right? You know, because the car can diagnose itself on the run. Okay, on the run. They can diagnose the delivery of the battery fluctuating. 12 volt, slightly higher, slightly lower, fluctuating, not steadily at 12 volt. Okay, so they asked to park the car where it's safe, call the service center, and we call the tow truck, deliver the car to the service center. The next day they called us, they told us that we tested your Prius, and we found out that the delivery performance is not stable, and don't worry, we will replace the battery for free because it's still under warranty. The battery cost is like 8,000 ringgit. The Prius is not an EV. It is a hybrid car. Okay, a hybrid car is more, they prefer, Toyota prefer to launch a hybrid rather than a EV because the EV is very difficult to charge, take a long time to charge, right? And limited charging point. You nak charge pun takes like at least 1 hour ada 1 hour. Overnight, no. My friend, a little bit change the story. My friend, because he installed the solar panel, he can use EV because he can charge the EV overnight, okay, for free because he used solar panel. So solar panel will cost you like 40,000.
Wow.
Maybe nowadays maybe 20,000. If you can invest for solar panel, then it's okay. Then you can go for EV. Okay. So in this case, if you can come up, the purpose of me telling you the example because there is a perfect detection practice. Okay. A perfect detection practice because they can predict failure. Almost certain one. No risk at all. No risk at all at detection because they can foresee what's going to happen in a very near future. They can foresee. So considering your countermeasure, because if you have anything that is very difficult to predict, the second best one might be this thing, might be this smoke detector, but the best one is Prius. Okay. If you can figure out of how to prevent, of how to preempt the risk, then you are doing a very good job. I'm very proud of my Prius.
The detectability
performance of the delivery, the battery was fluctuating, and they can detect, because I think they have all sorts of diagnostic tools in there. They can detect the instability of the performance before it went wrong. Okay, so they can warn the user immediately. Because I think the risk is the car might, I mean, in terms of severity, okay, if they don't identify in terms of detection, the severity will go to, out of control in the highway, can endanger the driver, the passengers. So that's why they put a lot of attention into detection, into the prevention. Okay, that is an extremely good example of detection that can go down to not a risk at all. One, not a risk at all.
And then another thing, detectability, because we are doing the rating for each failure mode for each input.
Yes.
So the detectability is detect during our process or the next process, which is our customer. Meaning, is there any differences in or between detected at the final process or detected at our process? Is there a different rating for that?
Okay. So there are two things there. For manufacturing, it should be detected in your process. For design, when doing design a car, they should design for a car with a detection features like the Prius. Okay? They should design a car that can detect the risk during operation. Okay? In your case, you are involved in manufacturing. That should be in your manufacturing FMEA. Okay? When they do the product design, they should consider all these risks in their design FMEA. Okay? Okay, anything else? Okay, tak ada apa-apa lagi? Because today, as I mentioned earlier in the morning, our schedule will be changed today. We need to go for Friday prayer. Okay, so we are going to lunch early today, and then come back from Friday prayer. We are going to continue with your FMEA exercise. Okay, and then we'll continue with your presentation for review. And at the end of it, I'm going to sum up these 2 days program. Okay, we still have some time. Let's go back to the template. Let's go back to the template. Okay, so you have scored the severity. Okay, what causes the key input to go wrong? Okay, now we go back to the key input, to the input variable, and you need to identify what causes that the key input to go wrong. What are the possible causes? Still, for one input variable, one failure mode, you still can put 1, 2, or 3 variables. Okay, you still can put more than one way the input to go wrong. So you have to always add new rows whenever you have these multiple answers. So that's why you have to be prepared to add new rows. Meaning that because from here, key input is 1. In what ways can be more than 1? Okay. What is the impact can be more than 1 as well. And for each key input, you can come up with a few. Okay, you can come up with a few. What causes the key input to go wrong? Okay. What causes? Here, you can use your fishbone diagram. Okay, so that you can further analyze what can be the cause. Okay, what can be the cause? You can use your fishbone diagram or YY analysis tools or what else? Your root cause analysis tools. What else? Maybe some of the tools. Okay,
Dia punya apa dia? Failure book dia.
Motivation.
Okay. And then you have your occurrence, okay? And then your current controls. Okay, current controls. What are the existing controls and procedures, inspection and testing that prevent either the cause of the failure mode? Okay, should include the SOP number. Okay, current controls. What are the procedure? Okay, inspection, test. One more thing before I forget is the Pokayoke. Pokayoke is your control as well. Okay, what are the controls now? Currently, calibration. Okay, that you are having in order for you to prevent from occurrence. Okay, and then you will have your you will have your detection. Okay, and then it will automatically calculate for you the RPN, risk priority number. Okay, and again later today, you will need to sort them on descending order again. So that's why you need to fill out the rows accordingly. Okay, fill out the rows accordingly nicely, so that when you sort them, you still can identify which are which. Okay, so that you are not going to mix things up. Okay, you still need to sort them on descending order and then determine the cut-off threshold again. Okay, we are going to work on these few variables. High on the RPN list. Okay, okay, and then actions recommended. What are the actions for reducing the occurrence of the cause or improving detection? Should have actions only on high RPNs or easy fixes. Again, you need to determine the cut-off threshold for your RPN. And again, remember, anything with even low RPN but risk element of 9 and above automatically require actions. Okay. Okay. What are the actions for reducing the occurrence of the cause or improving detection? Okay. They forget to put reducing severity. Okay. Sometimes you cannot reduce the frequency, but you can reduce the severity. Like road accident, people will drive like like crazy people still, regardless of the minister or regardless of the promotion in TV. People will still drive like the way they always do. But if you can come up with something that can mitigate the severity, you can fall down on the road, you can scratch your body on the road, but you will not break any bones, or you will not hurt your flesh. Okay, if you can come up with such severity mitigating solution, you can still also reduce the severity risk element. Okay, okay, you are mitigating the risk of severity. You cannot reduce the occurrence, still happening every day, but nobody dies nowadays. Okay, fine. Okay, still happening every day, but nobody dies. Nobody even go to the hospital. Okay, something like that. Okay, because every risk, you can take a separate action to mitigate every single risk element. You can reduce severity, you can reduce occurrence, you can also improve detection. For instance, the road bump, that is to reduce all of them, severity as well as detection. Become easier, right? Okay, for the user, okay, they can easily identify that there is a bump, meaning that ahead, right in front of the bump, there are risks. Like people taking into the junction, school children crossing the road. That's why they put the bump right before those kind of events. So those are strategies cannot reduce all, then you try and reduce one. If you cannot improve on the detection, if you cannot reduce on occurrence, then maybe you can reduce the severity of it. Okay? It still happen, but nobody needs to go to the hospital. Okay? There will be a big improvement. Okay. Any questions so far? We are going for a break. And yep.
Captain Garden Control.
Okay.
Mention here existing control and procedures that prevent either the cause or the failure.
Okay.
How about the current controls? It's more actual detection. Also means the problem is yes, but they control it by is prevention.
Detection. Okay. Over time, your management definitely will raise the bar. Okay. Now you cannot improve. You cannot prevent the severity. You cannot prevent the occurrence. You can only prevent. You can only improve on the detection. You can control on the detection, but that is not going to stay like that forever. Definitely, your management will request for you to improve on the, especially severity. Okay, especially severity. Okay, never mind if you have already installed your countermeasure, but if the risk priority number is beyond the threshold, then you will still need to do countermeasure on the risk element. Okay, that is just some sort of recognizing this current situation that there is a control element installed in the process, but the risk priority number is still high. We need to do something on top of the control.
And one regarding the detection.
Okay.
So, for example, in one section, for the five process.
Okay.
Process 1, 2, 3, and 5. So, and the input, for example, the input, the problem will be at first at process 1,
Okay.
but in detection at the process 5,
Okay.
process 4.
Okay.
So, can we include in this means it's not in the same process, but within the same line, but different process.
Okay.
So we can include as well like this form means
Can.
detection from the different process.
Can. But the issue now is on the risk evaluation, risk grading. Okay. Can you detect the defect? Can.
At the different process.
At a different, I mean, okay, fine, never mind. You can detect the process at the defect at a different process. So you can detect. You can detect, meaning that the risk score is, I can say regular one, because you can detect the defect. Okay. And when do you detect the defect? After the customer product crash down, or before you deliver the defect to the customer?
Before
Still in your company. Okay, then the risk of detection is very low. You can identify it as maybe 3 or very low, because you have a good detection, regardless of it is detect at a separate different process.
so contohnya within this for example one FMEA,
Okay.
if we can detect within one FMEA means okay, I mean one FMEA means
Process.
one section. Is it five process? But actually this is not the product that we send to customer.
Understand.
We send to the other
Understand.
process. But the defect can actually detected at the before send to customer.
Yes.
When is customer.
You can identify that. Okay, good. And the detection is also good, because before they go to the customer. But you can further define the grading. If the defect is found at the customer, then score 10. If the defect is found before sent to customer, then detection is like 5. If the defect is found by a different section, is the detection detection is called as maybe 5. That is the severity of detection, the difficulty of detection. The easier it is to be detected, then the lower the score, because you can detect it earlier. Just like this is a good example. Okay, it can detect a fire before it break out at the smoke level. Okay, of course Prius is the best, huh? This is a good example for your grading. If the fire can be detected after the whole building burned down, then the score will be 10. If the fire can be detected at the smoke level, then the score maybe you want to put 3 also, okay? Meaning that there is another earlier level. Maybe that if you change the material, the fire will never happen. The fire retardant material. Okay, so that one will be 1. If you detect the fire at smoke level, it's already 3. If the fire is detected, at what level, maybe 5. And after the building itself burned down, then definitely 10. Okay? Any other question before we go for lunch? And then before we go for our Friday prayers?